Bro, you know I be on
My shit be like just buzzing too much. I turn my
You gotta turn that shit off.
You gotta turn that shit off. I be on the YouTube, yo. I be in the comments on YouTube.
The risk to go and get them bands. I be the one to never sit and go and make a plan. Knowing my mother getting older, I don't got no time. Gotta keep a couple for the road.
Hey, yeah. Hey, last time you had the lyrics on your head?
I was reading them.
I give it all to the
mic stand and if it's been done before, then I know I can.
Okay.
I'm on the rise, I'm trying to
Keep a level head. I know that
She
part.
want my time, she begging me to give me. I'd rather share blood.
Yes, sir.
Yo, what's the deal, y'all? Hope all is well. Welcome back to another episode. I'm Duke.
I'm Omar.
I'm Jalan, and this is another episode of the #1 podcast in all of Los Angeles. Nice and neat. I'm here with my brothers again.
Hello.
I'm gonna give you guys their names again. I got Duke.
Hello.
I got O.
Yo.
And it's me, Jalan. Fellas.
What up?
We are we coming off of a couple of scorching weeks of topics.
Scorched earth.
We got a couple of scorching weeks of topics, fellas. We had some great episodes, circulated really well. Whether it was on YouTube or on Instagram, even on TikTok. I see we got a video over 4 or 5 million views.
Man, I think this is a good time to just thank everybody who's sharing those posts, whether it be on YouTube Shorts, whether it be on TikTok, whether it be on Instagram. All of that is helping us grow. So I just want to say thank you guys for putting that out there for us and helping us get seen by more people. That's why we're doing this for, so we could be seen by the masses and get our message across.
It's an even better time to subscribe to our channel right now.
That's a fact.
Yeah, so make sure you do that. Yeah, nice and neat on all platforms.
Yeah, there's no reason why that video should have 40,000 views and we don't got 40,000 subscribers.
Yeah, you know.
It's just kind of
Y'all make it make sense
It's
for us.
mathing.
the math ain't math, and that's
Okay.
that's what they saying.
That's
now,
what they
right?
say. That's what the kids are
Speaking of what they saying,
Okay.
right? I watch. I seen it on TikTok. It's trending on TikTok, but I'll start here. I watch a lot of TLC, right?
Do you?
I gotta come on, man. Me and my lady, we watch TLC. When the night gets done, work is over, we sit down on the couch and we watch some TLC.
Okay, all right.
You know, it's a show on there called Sister Wives, right? Sister Wives is kind of talking about polygamy, right? But it's also a show on there for the ladies as well, called Brother Husbands. It's Brother Husbands, right?
I've never heard of it.
Okay, it's just to make sure. I believe it's Brother Husbands.
Sister Wives. Okay. I got
Okay,
you.
yep,
I got
it's
you.
Brother Husbands.
Same
Same
concept.
concept.
Same concept.
Okay.
Brother Husbands is for a woman who's married to 2 men, and then Sister Wives for a man who's married to multiple women. So this will be classified as polygamy.
Yep.
Right? And I think that polygamy is interesting in the state of dating going on right now. I think it's a hot topic, and you know we're gonna kind of touch on that a little bit today. You know, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the show, but
I've never seen it, but I'm really fascinated by Brother Husband.
they black too, so I just want you to know that
Brother Husband.
Brother husbands, and they brothers.
I've actually never heard of polygamy in that way, ever. Every time
I've never heard the term.
I've never even heard.
I've never heard the term.
Initially, though, when I hear polygamy, I always think of 2 women, multiple women, 1 man. I never think about it on the other foot. But like, we are in a different time in the world. Like, why can't it be the other way?
You just made me think about something. Is polygamy a patriarchal concept?
In what sense? though? Like
Patriarchal meaning American?
No.
patriotic.
Different P. We're gonna talk about a lot of P's in here. Polygamy,
A lot of P's.
A lot of P's in this. Is it a patriarchal concept? Is this a man-made concept to fulfill a man's need?
It's polygamy. Whew.
Because I never really looked at polygamy from the other side of a woman being with multiple men.
Yeah, me either. But I would say, how can it be if, traditionally speaking, polygamy kind of started out of religion? Well, I don't want to say, but I would assume that's where it kind of started from. Like, if we trace back the tracks of polygamy and where it originated from, the first thing that comes to my mind is Muslim religion, Mormon religion. You know, so Well, I guess man created religion, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure where it comes from, bro. Honestly, I don't know where it comes from or where it stems from. I just know that the way people talk about it today, right? I think it can come off as like this only benefits men. You get what I'm saying? Like this is only suited for men. Right? That's how people talk about it today. But I think that a lot of women subscribe to it as well.
Why do you say
In the
that?
sense that not just subscribe to it like, yo, I want to participate, but I want to be the one. I want to be the one to have two guys that I could bounce back and forth with.
Why do you say it only benefits men?
I think when men think about polygamy today, they're thinking about what they can get out of it. That's what I mean.
And you don't think women come into it thinking about what they could get out of it too?
No, I think that's that too. But I think when men think about and talk about polygamy, they don't think about how it benefits women. I think it's just completely like, yo, I just want two women.
But wouldn't you agree that any person that walks into a situation is always thinking about how it's going to benefit them?
That's true. That's true.
Right? No one's walking to any situation in life not thinking about how it couldn't benefit them.
I believe that too. But I think to some degree, right, depending on what type of man you have, I will look at certain situations and say, yo, like, I could do something for this person. Like, I want to establish a relationship with this person because I think I could do something for her.
What's the benefit of a woman stepping into a relationship with another woman and with a man?
Well,
Less obligations.
that could be one thing, right? That could be financial benefit, less obligation. Some women feel like if they're the only one that has to bear the responsibility to pleasing a man, that could be overwhelming.
Or even bearing children.
Or bearing children. One woman could be the mom. I never thought about that.
Different roles.
That's a good point.
We a team.
That's
We a
good
team.
point.
Everybody has a role on the team. You know what I mean?
Okay, I think these are all good points. So we're talking about the landscape of dating, right? And obviously, I feel like polygamy will be the end of the road when it comes to dating because polygamy is based off of marriage and marrying multiple people, which I still think is a sense of discipline in that because you're married to who you're married to. You're not just going out and stepping out and doing whatever you want.
For sure.
Why do you feel like in this generation of dating, though, polygamy is something that's even considered? Was that something that you considered growing up?
I got you.
Not polygamy, but I would be lying if I didn't say I didn't watch movies like How to Be a Player growing up and be like, man, I'm trying to be like Bill Bellamy.
Yeah, when we talking about polygamy, we talking about marriage, though, right?
Sure.
Because we got to define polygamy.
Okay, I guess we got to go ahead and break
do
that
that.
down.
Can we
gotta
pull
go ahead and
that
break
up?
that down.
Let's define polygamy.
Can we pull that up?
Let's define polygamy. So, polygamy.
Different than
Polygamy is definitely different than polyamory because these are a comparison that they have right here. So
Okay.
polygamy is the practice or custom of having more than one wife or husband at the same time.
okay.
The husband is in the definition.
Okay,
We
yeah.
never hear about it.
Yep.
So since we're talking about that, right, let's go ahead and look up polyamory as well.
Okay.
So polyamory is the practice of engaging in multiple romantic and typically sexual relationships with the consent of all the people involved.
With the consent.
I never grew
consent.
up thinking about polygamy. Never.
Me either.
Never.
Not me either.
Although, full transparency, like my grandpa had 3 wives, right? So even though I didn't grow up thinking about it, I grew up in that.
You know
right?
existed.
Yeah, I grew up in that, and it was completely okay in my family.
What kind of questions did you have surrounded that? Surrounded like your grandpa having 3 different wives. Did you have any questions at all? Did you ask the questions?
No. When you're young and there's authorities, you just kind of don't ask no questions.
be
Especially in my culture, I don't ask questions.
Let it be what it's gonna be.
Yeah, won't ask questions. We just take it for what it is.
You said my culture, so you being Nigerian, is that something that's typically normal for the older generations? Because obviously that's not
I think
what
it's
you
normal.
on. But
I think it's normal. Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of cultures.
So it's beyond a religious thing. It's a cultural thing.
Yeah, I think a lot of cultures definitely. I think is a cultural thing. You know what I'm saying? Like the further you go back, the more you probably see it. I think one wife one husband, one wife, I think, right? Not saying I don't subscribe to it, because I do subscribe to it. I think it's still a westernized, Eurocentric ideology that we've adapted in America.
So I'm glad you said that. When people say that, like, oh, it's westernized, Eurocentric, right? Because there's probably going to be people, if we post any clips of this episode, and they'll be in the comments like, that's a westernized, Eurocentric ideology. What comes with polygamy from what you've seen?
What comes with it in the sense of, you know,
Responsibility, because being
I
with
think-
one woman,
I
there's a
think-
responsibility, and being a polygamist, there's a
so
responsibility.
what comes with the responsibility that comes with polygamy, right, is being the caretaker of 2-3 households, right? 2-3 women, having to manage 3 women's emotions, or multiple women's emotions, multiple women's finances,
Fully.
lifestyle,
Yep.
children. All right, that's a lot of responsibility that I think when men talk about polygamy today, or any type of poly, they're just thinking about their sexual pleasure today, right? And I don't think that people really understand the whole concept. Like, it's deeper than that. You know what I'm saying? It's deeper than that. And it's like, you got to be well off to even subscribe to that lifestyle for it to make sense for you, at least. You know?
It's a
off.
You got to be well off.
You got to be well
It's
off.
a rich man sport.
Yeah. A powerful
Okay.
man sport, for sure.
Got you.
Powerful man sport.
So, okay, knowing that, I'm intrigued now. We're gonna get into the whole landscape of dating, but I'm intrigued because you said this is something that is actually in your bloodline. So, with your grandfather having 3 wives, and you're in a committed relationship, what puts you in a want
How do we
to
have
be?
different? How do we
Yeah,
have
like
different
how
extremes?
did you even have the 2 different? Those are 2 different extremes.
Yeah, for sure. Well, the number one thing is I'm a free thinker.
Well, I would say the number one thing is before that. I would say that is 2, but I would say, well, your elders grew up Afrocentric, and I mean, we're technically even though
yes.
you're Nigerian, you grew up in a
Correct,
Nigerian household.
correct.
We're growing up in a Eurocentric
Correct,
world. You know what I mean? Here in America,
Correct.
So we don't have those same values, those same beliefs.
Yeah.
Right.
But even like,
I got you. I thought you was gonna say number one thing was inflation, but okay.
nah, but like even just my immediate family, right? My mom, my dad, I saw them as a unit. You know, I didn't see my dad with multiple wives. I see my mom with multiple husbands. So that's the household I grew up in.
Were you born here?
I was born here.
Okay.
That's the household I grew up in, right? So that's kind of what I adapted. You know what I mean? So I think that for me, my whole life has been like, find one wife, one woman, be one husband, and do it like that. That's just what I know. You know what I'm saying? You know, but I'm a free thinker. Like, I grew up in America, and I can't, no matter how, you can't just undermine where you grow up. You can't undermine where you grow up, or the environment you grow up around, and just kind of like the ideologies that society has in place. You can't undermine that stuff, right? That has a big impact on how you think moving forward. So that's just kind of why there's such an extreme. You know?
Man, being in a fully committed relationship, I find it really hard. Like, and I know this polygamy exists, you know what I mean? There are hundreds and thousands of people who subscribe to this type of lifestyle. But knowing what we know about how much time we're giving to our women, how much commitment we're giving, like everything that we're showing up for, I couldn't imagine doing that for an additional woman, let alone 2 more, 3 more. I find it really hard to, and I think we kind of like touched on this briefly, even though we weren't talking about the subject of polygamy with Nick Cannon episodes ago, ages ago, right? Where it's like kind of just spread really thin. You know what I mean? So honestly, I don't even see like what the benefit is for a man other than his sexual desires. Like, why else would you want to subscribe to a polygamist lifestyle? You know what I mean? Like, how do you have the capacity to be the best Duke and Nacho in your life while giving yourself to so many different women and so much time and effort and energy? Or is there more behind the polygamous lifestyle that we don't know about, that you only give X amount of time to one? You know what I mean? Like, I find it really hard to even make that successful.
You just made me. I think polygamy. Me personally, I don't know.
Don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think it comes down more to to resources because something you just said, how can you pour into more than one woman's emotions? I know how much I have to pour into my girl's emotions, how much I have to pour into Brittany's emotions that says that I just don't have any more liquid to pour I couldn't fill anybody else's cup up. I couldn't. But I also think we're looking at it still. I still feel like that is a monogamous thought process.
Sure.
I think pouring into somebody in that manner is a monogamous thought process.
So you're saying as a polygamist, you don't pour into
to me personally, I don't think it's actually humanly possible.
Maybe they pour into you?
No, I think it's more of a as we go on to do whatever we're trying to do. So there has to be a goal. In polygamy,
what's the end goal, right?
There has to be a goal. So whether it's, hey, yo, I got 2 women because I want to have the most children I could possibly have. I know that one woman is not going to be able to do it. So when one woman pregnant, I need my other one to be pregnant too. Let's say that's what it was. Then with that being said, that's what the goal is. I'm not pouring in your emotions.
This is true.
We have a goal. We're here to build it. We're
Legacy.
here to build this family.
Yeah.
And in that case, it will make sense.
It could make sense like that.
It would make sense. Even if you don't subscribe to it, you can't say that part, that doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? To like, hey, yo, like our goal, my sole goal is not to be in love. I'm not here to be in love with y'all. All right? I'm not here to be in love with y'all. My sole goal is to have as many kids as possible so I can create a legacy, or I can have the highest chance possible to create a legacy. And in that case, right, I can't say that it's wrong. I can't say that it's wrong.
On this show that you guys watch, the brothers and the sisters, do they ever talk about love within the dynamic of their relationship?
You know what's so crazy, bro? I'm so fascinated by the concept of it that I don't even fully watch it. And I will say this, I just seen it and it comes on. I watched 90 Day Fiance. Now you asked me about that, I could tell you about that. That 90 Day Fiance is crazy. But I will say they do talk about love. They do talk about love. And I hear more of the love coming from the participants rather than the one entity. So on like Sister Wives, I hear about the women talk about how they love him. And, you know, I still feel like love is still a fleeting emotion though. So it's like, oh yeah, I love him. You know, it's cool. I enjoy
They're
it.
not in love with him.
But like, nah, because they leave. They leave. Nope. Like, these are not, we're not sitting here talking how, you know, we see relationships and granted, monogamous marriages end in divorce as well, but to where you see people going 30 and 40 and 50 years. No, I haven't seen that yet with polygamy marriage. I haven't seen that yet with polygamists. But they leave. They enjoy each other for a certain amount of time, and you know, eventually, just how humans work, you want more and you don't get more.
So there's a lack of happiness within the relationship.
Yeah, but I think there's such a high at some point in time that is kind of what allows each individual in the shows and involved in polygamy to be like, I'll do it. You know, I'm with it. Like this is okay. And then again, when we talking about like, yo, I'm ready for somebody to pour into my emotions because I'm not feeling like who I was 3 years ago. Like I need you to talk me through those things. I'm sure we all experience it within our relationships. Mm-hmm. And you know, when you need that, you don't get that. It's like, oh, hold on, wait a minute. Like I need that. Me and Brittany have conversations all the time of like, yo, like this used to be like this and this is like this now. Okay, cool. And try to find a common ground of where we at now. Now, can you imagine doing that 3 times a day?
No, I wouldn't. I personally wouldn't have the mental capacity for it or the heart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that with anything poly, I don't think you're emotionally invested. I can't see it.
Not even with one?
If you're emotionally invested with one, how can she truly be happy with you giving time to someone else?
Yeah. So as a
And-
polygamist, you would have to come in telling the one before you lock down the one that this is what you want.
Yeah. Yes, you can't just
You can't just get her and just be
you can't
like-
just start with talking with it.
And it's like, oh, hey, you know, we're about to do this polygamy,
That's
this
crazy.
whole polygamy thing. So
That's
like,
crazy.
you got to get ready to not be the number one no more.
I wish somebody would come to me and say, "Hey, yo, like, hey, babe, listen, I love you, but let's go find a new man.
Let's.
Let's go find another man to add to it.
So I'm gonna ask you guys again, since we're talking about the landscape of dating. We could get away from polygamy a little bit, and we could kind of maneuver into polyamory a little bit more. When you guys were dating and dealing with multiple women at the same time, did you feel like you cared about them equally?
Not equally.
Or was there
No.
a pecking order?
There's a pecking order. There's definitely a pecking order. There's someone who you want to spend more time with. There's someone who you like doing more active stuff with. There's someone who you just don't like being outside with. Y'all, you know what I mean? Like everyone has their different. Am I lying?
No, this is true.
That's
Am I?
fact.
I'm not.
No, this is true.
I'm telling the whole story right
You
now.
said someone you don't like being outside with.
No, that's real.
This is a
That's
fact,
a
though.
fact.
This is
So
a fact.
okay, right. Let's say you had someone who you went to dinner with, someone who you didn't really like being outside with, someone you had a little fun with. You know, you had your little errands chick, you had your food, your chick that brought you food.
You got one that you probably work out with.
Got your okay, cool, right?
You know what I mean?
So now you're in a relationship with one woman.
Yep.
That one woman provides all those things for you.
The reason why you get in a relationship is because you realize that you found all these great qualities in one person.
Did you know that was possible before you found her?
Absolutely. I believe it was possible because just like all of us, I watched my dad be married. You know what I mean? So I believed it was possible. I believe that you could find everything that you want in one woman, but that's not what I was on. That's not what I was on. I'm young, I'm in my 20s. I'm feeling good. I feel active. I feel strong. I feel like I at some point in my life, I've had some type of success. Now I'm just not on that.
So I'm gonna ask you guys, both of y'all, if someone told you, yo, I prefer to have 5 women instead of one, what would you say they was running away from when it came to that, having 1 instead of 5? Is it the sexual aspect? Is it
The hard work.
I don't want.
The hard work. You're running away from the hard work. It's hard. It's hard to get everything you want and be completely invested into one person. That's hard. It's not. That's why they say relationships are work. They take a lot of work on both ends, right? But if you're not willing to do the work, or if you're scared of the work, or don't know how to do the work, then you'll probably more likely subscribe to the lifestyle of dealing with multiple women, because you know that there's some aspects with each of these women that I don't have to work in or work at. Some of these women I could just not respond and pick the conversation back up whenever I want,
Or whenever she get over it.
or whenever she get over it, and that's fine. You know what I mean? But I think once you realize I'm running away from the hard stuff, and eventually you're gonna have to do the work anyway, unless you decide that you're gonna subscribe to this polyamorous lifestyle forever, for life. But that's not personally what I wanted from out of my life. You know what I mean? I wanted happiness from one woman, and I wanted to build a family, and I wanted the things that I saw my dad have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the things that he didn't have from one woman. You know what I mean? So like, for me, I never. For me, that's what I looked at. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
So, you said, and I actually agree with you 100%. So we're talking about the landscape of dating, and we're talking about what we think about it right now. And from what I see, it's not really in good shape.
Mm-hmm.
But also something that is very relatable that I see in society is everything is kind of instant gratification. And we know with instant gratification, there's a lack of work.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lack of hard work.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people don't want to work hard for relationships right now. But yet they all want them because it's a human need. It's a human want. What would y'all say to people who say like, yo, the landscape of dating is tough right now? It's nobody out there.
I would agree and disagree. I would agree that it's tough because of what I'm hearing. But I would disagree in the sense of there's nobody out there.
Right.
Because there is somebody out there.
Right.
There is somebody out there. Maybe you haven't been able to find them. Maybe you're looking in the wrong place. Maybe you're hanging with the wrong people. Maybe it's just not the right time. There's a lot of different variables that could fall into that could lead into that. But in terms of what was it? Not finding the what was the first thing?
Nobody's out there.
Nope, not nobody's out there. What was the other one?
That's tough.
It's tough. In terms of it being tough, I would agree, because everything that I'm hearing from every one of my peers is like, man, bro, like, I wish I had what you had. Like, you got a good thing right now. Or, man, it's just, you should see how these women is acting out here. So, and again, I don't personally see. I'm just going off of what I hear from my peers. So I would say that, yeah, it probably is tough. And then also, just like what you're saying, you know what I mean? There's social media, which is blowing things way out of proportion.
Way out of proportion.
Or lying, basically, like just smoke and mirrors, showing things that aren't really true. You know what I mean? And so it's really hard to not see these things and not, or be unhappy with yourself because you don't have them, because you see everyone else have them, right? Quote unquote, have these happy moments or this beautiful life that you want. But I think you can find it, and there's somebody for everybody, bro.
Yeah.
There's absolutely somebody for everybody. It just takes the right time, the right moment, the right words, and the right intention.
Right.
The right intention for you to find it.
I think dating is definitely tough. The dating scene is tough because I feel like men and women are pointing at each other. No one kind of wants to no one wants to really look at their own behavior and look internally at things that they can change to become better people and to become more suitable for the opposite sex.
Yeah.
Everyone's just pointing at each other and telling each other to do the changing and to do the work. You know what I mean? And then like you alluded to, Jalon, instant gratification, the more instant things become in our life, the less patience we feel like we have to have. So cultivating relationships, dating relationships, we're not even official. We're just cultivating relationships takes time. It takes multiple experiences. It takes learning that I don't feel like we're willing to do because everything is moving so fast. And then we're constantly seeing podcast clips, right? Podcast clips about how bad men are, how bad women are. And it's kind of forcing us to take a side. And what we don't realize is we are being brainwashed to pick a side. And we're being brainwashed to support a side and to champion whatever extreme that we believe in, And ultimately what that's doing is that's trickling into our mindsets and affecting our real life relationships. So now the reel or TikTok that I saw that, that has 4 million views and 4,000 comments about why you can't trust men. When I go on that date or when a guy comes up to me in a really respectful way, I don't receive it how he's coming. You get what I'm saying? You may not notice it, but the brainwashing and the I guess the hypnosis aspect of everything is just making us poor daters or suitors or however you want to slice it, right? So I do think the dating, scene is tough in that regard. But like you said, man, there's plenty of people out there, right? There's plenty of people out there, but everyone's looking at people that are out of the league. Everyone's using relationships. Shameless plug, I don't want to toot my own horn, but everyone's using relationships like mine and saying, yo, those are goals. I need that. That's not practical, right? There's women that will comment on my post and say, yo, like, I'm sending this to my man, or I'm sending this to the guy I'm talking to. And I think that's disrespectful. You get what I'm saying? Like, I think that we're kind of looking for, we're taking the highlights of everyone else's life and using that as an expectation of what we want. And that's why we can't find nobody. You know what I'm saying? That's why no one's out there, but just people everywhere. People everywhere.
Yeah, I'm really big on the accountability side of if I want something, why don't I have it? Not if I want something, what are you doing for me not to have it? Mm-hmm. It doesn't make sense to me. Personally, it just doesn't make sense to me. So when people say like dating is so hard because people are doing such and such, it's like, okay, well, what are you doing to like not be around those people? Because like you said, there's somebody for everybody, right? There was a clip recently, a podcast clip recently that I seen, and it was a woman, and she was saying, yo, women, if these men aren't acting right, you need to just go out there and do what they do, until they act right. And it's like, there was a negotiator, right? He's a negotiator to diffuse situations. And he has a quote, and he says, anytime you add more artillery to the process, then there's going to be more body bags that you're going to have to get. He said, we need to hire more negotiators and not more people with guns. Mm-hmm. So for a woman to say, hey, yo, you need to just go out there and do what they do, to me, you're just getting further from what you actually want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense to me.
In the same breath on that too, it's like we look, because you mentioned it too, like people are taking the advice from these people who are saying don't trust men, or whatever it is that you said about the women on the podcast, right? And it's like, as someone who is trying to advance in life, right, I want to take advice and tips from people who are successful, right? That it makes no sense for me to take tips or follow the lead from someone who's not living a life that I want to live, or that isn't having any success. So it's kind of almost ass backwards to be taking these clips that we're seeing and I guess feeding into them by sending them to other people if we're not subscribing, if we don't believe in the lifestyle that person is subscribing to. Right? If that person isn't happy and they're telling me about something that's making them unhappy, then why would I do that? Like, I'm looking at that person at that clip, just like, oh, this person's just unhappy.
They're just unhappy.
They're just unhappy. I feel what they're talking about, but they're just unhappy.
That's their experience.
That's their experience.
That's not reality.
That's not reality. That's just their experience. And they're taking their experience and they're blasting it online. And then we're taking their experience and thinking that that's how it goes in real life. And just like what you're saying, that's not true. Yeah. I would like to see all of us be more on the other side of that. Let me follow and subscribe to people that are successful and that have the things that I absolutely want. Yeah. Right? But it gets kind of tricky because it's like you're saying, like, you find it disrespectful if a woman says, I'm sending this to my man, right? Yeah. But at the same time, though, it's not, because you are having success within your relationship.
Correct. Not necessarily disrespectful to me, but if I'm in a relationship with a woman, right? And my woman is constantly comparing me to someone else's relationship, right?
That's disrespectful.
That doesn't really sit well to me. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Now, she can paint it as, I'm just trying to motivate my guy. I am just trying to inspire my guy. I'm trying to give my guy tips. But to me, it just doesn't sit well. You can take it, come back to me, and then suggest something, and we can have a conversation. Cool. But to me, that doesn't sit well. And that's what I meant by that. But I understand the concept, though. Yeah. I understand the concept.
If that's the case, I would like for them I would like for people to just pull the information, not send. Correct. Let's pull the information, and now let's open up dialogue amongst us and talk about that.
Because that's actually where I was at right now.
You know what I mean?
Like, by me grabbing it and sending it, it's telling me I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing, but you're not.
No, that's not right.
That's how like, it's like, yo, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing, but you not. This isn't, hey, yo, they actually just said what I just said. Nah, that's not what you sent it. Yo, I love the way that Duke is treating Chanel. Check this out. Okay, well, what is Chanel doing to Duke for him to treat her that way?
That's what I'm saying.
Because it's like you said, let's have a dialogue about it. Like, hey, yo, I actually just seen that they said every Tuesday they sit down and review their month. I
Yep.
mean, their week. They sit down and they talk about it. Like, I think this is something that we probably could incorporate into our relationship as well.
That's
You
the
know?
approach.
That's the approach.
That's the
Rather
approach.
than, hey, every Tuesday, Duke writes Chanel a nice letter.
Look at this. Why don't you write me?
And what I'm saying is like
Yes.
that's the accountability part I'm talking about, where it's just like, yo, I'm gonna send you this because I'm doing my part, but you not. That's not taking accountability.
Yeah.
You know, and when we talk about the landscape of dating, we talk about why dating is so tough or why there's no one out there. It's because no one's taking accountability. That's the word. No one's taking accountability. You know, and we talked about this in prior seasons. Like, the reason dating so hard is because no one wants to do the work. No one's taking accountability. Everybody wants to be Beyonce and Jay-Z after the first date. And if I'm not that, then this guy's not for me, or this girl's not for me. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So then what happens is we start leaning into things like, I'm more of a poly guy. I'm really more of a poly guy. I'm really, you know what? I want to subscribe to the poly lifestyle, right?
Yep.
Why can't women enjoy the poly lifestyle? You start getting those types of conversations.
Yeah,
because,
if he's taking care of me, you
Yeah.
know, if he's taking care of me, like, he could do whatever he need to do. He taking care of me,
you know,
and I feel like, just like you said, guy, I'm more of a poly guy. Oh, well, he's taking care of me. It's like in your heart, when you were a 7-year-old and you fantasized about love, is that the love that you thought about?
and that's and that's accurate, because like, we're no scientists, but I just know how I feel for most people growing up. We all desire one person.
Yeah.
Like, there's something that has to happen to our life. Would be like, yo, I want 1, 2, 3 to actually be with, right? But like, we all desire, like, just to have that companionship or relationship or something like that. You know, I'm not a scientist, but I feel like I know this.
Now, we all do desire that, but if you are a woman that isn't, let's just say you're a woman who doesn't want that right now. And I want to go back to like one of your opening statements to this conversation. It's like, well, what if her getting taken care of is benefiting her? You know what I mean? And what if like she's at a point where like right now I'm not looking for love, right? And it's, in that sense, that shit is working out for her. That it's actually working perfectly for her. You know what I mean? Because again, the responsibilities are reduced. She's getting taken care of. In her eyes, shit, I'm the one who's winning out of this situation. It's not the man.
So to that point, if that's exactly what you want, then you speaking about the landscaping of dating you're actually going backwards in what makes me believe that is not what you want. It's what's benefiting you right now.
Convenient.
But it's convenient, but that's not what you want. So to just be like, oh yeah, you know, just go get you somebody. He'll take care of you. He do this. But like these dudes ain't shit. You don't. I wouldn't say that about my relationship. I wouldn't be like, hey, bro, go get you in a relationship. You know, you could go ahead and lock her down, but like, you know, these girls ain't shit.
And so you
I wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that. I would promote what I'm doing, happy and being full in it, because I'm just like, yo, this is where it's at, bro. It's work. It's work though, but this is where it's at.
So you think the poly lifestyle stems from not being able to get what you want, your first option, most of the time?
I don't want to put that blanket on it.
Nah, me either.
I don't want to put that blanket on it. I don't think that would be fair to put that blanket on it. And also, I think it's like it's more of a conversation than to just give it that. But I know for me, if I was like, yo, I wanna be with multiple women, it's because I was done doing the work with one, and whenever one of them got mad, I want to bounce around to another one, so I don't have to I don't really have to work in there.
That's it for me.
That's kind of what I feel like will be the benefit. Or just like if a woman was like, yo, what's the benefit of poly? Like, I don't want to struggle no more. So like, you know, I'll let this dude take care of me if I don't got to struggle. Whatever come with that. But like, the struggle is more important to me than what my emotions look like right now.
So you can't be poly. You can't subscribe to that lifestyle if you don't got no bread though, right?
I mean, how? How could you? How could you support multiple women if you ain't got no bread?
You could get a couple of stragglers.
I mean, even
Okay,
then,
hold on, okay.
even then, how?
Okay, let me
You
ask y'all
could
this.
do it. You could be a dude. You know, you could get a dude. You could be if you. Because okay, so for example, right, we thinking if you playing in your league, you could go down a league and you could get a couple that just be willing to just be around you, be in your presence.
But then again, okay, so what's the benefit in that though?
There's no benefit in that for the women.
It probably feeds your ego a little bit. So like,
For who?
not
A
saying you
woman?
bringing them around. No, I'm talking about the man.
What's the benefit for a woman though?
Yeah, because regardless of what relationship you get into, you get in because you feel like it's beneficial.
Okay, it could be a multitude of things. But like, let's say this guy was the most cool guy in their town at one point in time.
I got you.
They still get to hold on to that. Like that's something that they hold on. Let's say they went to high school with him. He was the man in high school. He went off to college. He came back.
I got you.
He got two girls who would have never got him if he went on to be exactly who he was supposed to be.
Man, bro, I beg to differ, fam.
You never seen it.
I've never seen it. I've never seen a man with multiple women who was broke.
Yo.
No.
I've never.
That's not thinking dichotomies like that. I'm not saying he up, but he not broke. Like you could live in Kansas and have a 1-bedroom apartment, bro, and have 2 chicks in there.
Okay.
Like,
You be in Wichita.
That's all I'm saying.
Kansas.
That's all I'm
$1,000
saying.
rent. $1,000 rent.
So if I'm just a single man, all right, and I'm just dealing with multiple women, but I haven't made it clear to each woman that, hey, yo, I'm dealing with this person, this other person, I'm dealing with this other person, right? Is that considered polyamorous?
No. That goes back to what I was
That's not
alluding to.
considered.
That's a different P.
That's a player. That's a player. Bill Bellamy, how to be a player? That's a player.
Wait, so
That's a player.
so that's not polyamorous.
Nah.
Okay.
And that's the thing. If you're gonna be polyamorous, you understand what you are. Right? There's no secrets.
So then,
There's no secrets in polyamorous.
There's no secrets in poly.
And poly. There's no secrets.
right? But what if I'm just a single guy and I'm dealing with women, and they just know that I'm not the only person they're talking to, but they don't know anything else about any woman that I'm dealing with. Is that poly?
Player.
Nah, you're not poly. I still
get
feel
what I'm
like
saying?
poly is they know, and like we can't omit what they know.
Okay.
We can't choose what they know for them.
Right.
That's the game we playing. So like, saying it's a different P. So like in poly, it's like, oh yeah, you talking to other people? Yeah. Who are you talking to? If she asks you that, and you poly, you tell her.
Well, it's not. I don't even think you guys. I think she knows.
She knows.
She knows. Ain't gonna be no. Who is it? No, I know. Like, so if we see each other out,
We good.
We good.
We homies.
We good.
we
Yeah.
good. This the family.
I'm gonna come to your table.
So if that's the case, when we're out and we see each other, we're family. Cause there is no secret. It's good. It's literally like, oh yeah, we've already known about each other. We actually have dialogue together at the house together. You know, we play games together. So it's not a thing. You know what I mean? But if it's on the other foot, you know, it's gonna be an issue when you run into somebody out in public.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's not going to be the same thing. So one P is different from the other P. Is what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean?
I was hanging with a friend a while back, man, and you know, he's into the whole poly lifestyle. And truly. And
Okay.
he asked me, man, have I ever thought about living that type of lifestyle? And I was just like, hell no. And I think that for me, man, I don't think I could ever subscribe to it just because, like you said, man, I feel like where I'm at right now, at least, like I'm trying to give my all to myself and to my person and to the life that we want to create together.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like anything additional is too much for me. That may be something that other guys could do, but for me, I'm not with that, right? And I think that I have a very traditional sense of just the way I want my life to be set up. You know what I'm saying? And I think that the fantasy of I think you got to consider more than just like the lustful fantasy of having 2 women when it comes to that
I'm glad
lifestyle.
you used the word fantasy instead
what I'm
of
saying?
desire.
desire instead of desire. Or
Yeah, I'm
fantasy.
glad you used the word fantasy
Yeah.
instead of desire.
Yeah, because I think fantasies aren't real. You know, it's just an illusion, and I think that we've been so spoon fed that type of fantasy that you would think that that's what you want to subscribe to, but there's probably a lot of things you got to consider before you step into that, you know. And I think it requires a lot more than men think.
So, okay, somebody who is poly, they'll argue that scientifically, men aren't designed to be with one woman, and they could say even the number of women on Earth will tell you that scientifically, right? So obviously, you've had desires or you've had fantasies. You've had fantasies, and what do you say to that?
I think everything we learn, everything we do in life is conditioned and learned. I think we can change everything, right? At a point in time, someone said that the world's not designed for black people to have equal rights. Somebody said that one time, in America at least.
You know, let's even go harder. I love what you just said right now.
go.
At one point in time, they said a human can't run less than a 4-minute mile.
At one point in time, they said that,
And one human did it, and
And
then
a bunch
that
of
year, a
thousands
whole
of
bunch of everybody did it.
right? So I think that like things like statements like men are supposed to do this and are designed to do this, these are learned things. These are learned ideas and learned concepts. Men can't be like a man could never be faithful to one woman. I don't know if that's true.
I've seen it done.
I think that's what I'm saying though. Like that's an idea. A man can't ever be faithful to one woman. I can't necessarily agree with that. I just think that's what's been presented to us. That's what's been shown to us for so long that we feel like that's the common nature of men.
Yeah.
That's an innate scientific DNA thing, right? Maybe what's scientific is our desire, right? Maybe something like, you know, people always talk about something like dopamine, right? Maybe there's something like that for desire or whatever, right? That's a scientific thing. But still though, you can still, with practice, with intent, right? With free thinking, I think you could dictate what you want to subscribe to in life.
Yeah, and I would say that scientifically, I would agree, but that's not what I believe in, right? It's like scientifically, you would agree that like the world was created through the Big Bang Theory, but it's not what I believe in. You know what I mean? So like, just because science says one thing doesn't mean like scientifically they said that every human on this earth should get the vaccine, right? But it's not what I believed in. So I think it all ultimately just comes down to what each individual believes in, right? Because science is one thing, but that has nothing to do with what your core beliefs are.
I'm glad you talk about beliefs because I do believe that I don't know if I want to use the word science, but I do believe that innately as human beings, we're not attracted to just one person.
I would agree.
I agree.
So with that being said, if somebody wanted to go out on a limb and say like, hey, yo, you shouldn't be with one person because you're not only attracted to one person, so you should give into your desires, right? I feel like I'm a believer, and in my belief, I understand that everything in this world is to detach you from who you are, is to detach you from God, is to detach you from your connection. So part of the reason why monogamy is important for me is because I feel like anything else outside of monogamy is because I'm telling myself, like, I don't have to be disciplined in any other area. Like, I don't have to be disciplined. I don't believe in not being disciplined with the person that I say I'm going to be disciplined. Outside of what starting a family, outside all those things, it's so much perversion that comes from poly, right? In my world, it's so much perversion that comes from it because mostly lying, deceit, let me not use the word poly. It's so much.
I'm about to say,
it's so
you can't
much,
say those. You can't
No, I'm not going to use the word poly.
Okay.
It's so much perversion that comes in not being monogamous. So if you have your rule set, you have your rule set. But when you don't have rules, it's perversion that comes in that because it's lying, it's deceit, you having children outside of your household, all kind of things to where you don't have any rules set in place. I think it's very important, and even for people who are polygamists, I want to apologize for putting them in that category as well. But even people who are polygamists, the fact that you have a set rule, like having rules is important. Having boundaries is important. That's why at the beginning of this episode, I said polygamy requires a level of discipline. Monogamy requires a level of discipline. And you guys are choosing to be disciplined in that every single day. I seen this podcast reel the other day of a woman, her and her husband, they've been married for probably about like 7 or 8 years. And when they first got married, she asked her husband, like, why do you love me? And he was like, because I choose to. And she was just like up in arms because it wasn't romantic. It wasn't sexy. It didn't give her the feels that she wanted to feel, but she said when the times where she wasn't as lovable, she thought about that and it made sense. When the times where she was going through postpartum depression, that made sense. The times where she was popping off at him, talking to crazy, like it made sense. The times where she was low and she couldn't love herself, she would look over at her partner and remember that he chose to love her through all of those moments. So when you have a set of rules and you choose something, I think that's very, very important. So I choose monogamy.
Yeah.
That's something that I chose. You guys chose it as well. I just hope that you guys are following the rules of monogamy, because there's rules in that as well. It's interesting in talking about the landscape of dating, and I feel like if your goal is to be monogamous, I feel like even in dating, I feel like that's something that you should mention. Like, my goal is to be monogamous, because I feel like you can't walk around and assume that everybody's going to be monogamous in this day and age, in this society, because there's other options out there. People are learning more. And you also get to understand the level of work that somebody's willing to put into your relationship as you guys continue to explore each other.
Fact. And I also want to say, man, like, if you're someone that believes in polygamy, monogamy, polyamorous, it's okay if someone else doesn't. Okay? Like, don't try to enforce the way you live and enforce your thinking on someone else, and make it seem like someone else that's living a lifestyle different than you is a bad thing. All right? People come from different backgrounds, have different experiences. And take a different approach to life. So I think we should just be, I don't look at polygamy and polyamory. I don't look at those things as destructive. You get what I'm saying? I don't really look at those things as destructive. So to me, there's really no need for me to push back on people who do that. No. You get what I'm saying? So I think that, we should just be accepting of that type of lifestyle for other people, right? Different strokes,
different folks. Boys, that was literally on. That's crazy.
Or different folks, different strokes. That's crazy. I get what I'm saying. Fellas, anything else?
Yeah, just last thought on that. Whatever it is, and polygamous, monogamous, polyamory, right? As long as there's structure.
Correct.
As long as there's structure, I think there could be success.
That's going to help the landscape of dating.
That's going to help the landscape of dating. There has to, just as long as you create structure with whoever you're dealing with and whatever it is that y'all building, and that y'all stay within the confines of that structure. As long as you do that, I think, depending on what you choose, we'll all be happy, right? If we stay within the confines of that structure. But the second that we start living outside of that structure, is when things will come to a collapse, in my opinion. So just be mindful of creating that structure and sticking to it.
We might have to get a polygamist on.
I would love to. I would love. I think that would be a great conversation.
I'm not even gonna lie. I really am. I would love to know what the
like. This is more of an educational.
Because I want to know what the emotional benefits are. Are there emotional benefits? I know the taxation on a monogamous relationship when it comes to the emotional wellness of one another
cannot be the same in that relationship. It can't be. There's no way.
And if it is, I would love to hear it.
Yeah,
I would love to hear it. So, matter of fact, if we have any polygamists that listen to the show and just love the show, feel free to reach out and be a polygamist. Don't just say I
on,
talk.
man.
No, for real.
Come on, man. Yeah, like, come on.
Yeah.
Hey, some people be reaching out. Some people reach out and say, "Hey, I want to come to your show," and then we'll go to their page, and there's not one video of them speaking, no video of them speaking, no speaking engagement, nothing. It's just like, I want to be on your show. But if you understand the context of our show, man, just before you do that, just make sure it aligns. You know.
And if it aligns, we're gonna make it happen. I mean, we've done that time and time again.
You know what I'm
You know what I
saying?
mean? And we will continue to do it. So, yeah, be mindful of that too.
But yeah, that's all we got. Thank you for tapping in with us and spending some time with us. If you are watching this at home, go ahead and screenshot the TV right now. All right, put that thing on your story. Tag Nice and Neat the podcast. Share with your friends. If you are listening to this on YouTube or watching on YouTube, make sure you comment your favorite part. Comment what you took away from this episode. Comment what you like. Share this episode with a friend. All right, follow us on all social platforms. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, all of the above. Follow us on or subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, everything. Don't forget to follow myself at Duke on Instagram, Omar.Bowden, and just.Jalon. And I think that's it, man.
Wait. I got one last thing.
Okay.
One last thing. I just want to send a special shout out to all of our viewers
Yes, sir.
out there because of you guys, we just reached our first video that surpassed 1 million views.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
So that's
what's
a
up?
huge milestone for us. We want to clap it up for you guys because without y'all, it would not be possible. So thank you so much. Continue sharing and liking and engaging with our posts. Obviously, it's making us really happy and making us fulfilled for what we're doing here. So, yeah.
But yeah, much love, much gratitude. I'm Duke.
I'm Omar.
I'm Jalon. This is another episode of Nice and Neat, and that's that on that.
I'll be the
Peace.
one to take the risk to go and get them bands. I'll be the one to never sit and go and make a plan. Knowing my mother getting old and I don't got no time. Gotta keep a couple for the road, the rest get left behind. Yeah. To the hundreds, pledge allegiance, I stand.